What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with Tactical Gaming, bringing you guys another video. And once again, proof on why the taxpayers of this country need to literally stand up and demand our money back from this government. Okay? Like, I'm not even kidding, because this government of ours, this Democratic run shithole government is getting ridiculous. Really is. And before I get fully into this, what it's going to be about is White House responds to criticism from Governor Kate Hobbs over the border crisis. Now, because Title 42 is literally over within like a day or two, um, Arizona and Texas are sending troops to the border just in case, which is good on them. Good on them. Like, I literally did a video not that long ago, and I was talking about how if Title 42 happens, either the American people are going to go to that border and protect that border because things are already bad enough as it is. Our government is already giving millions and millions and millions of our tax dollars to illegal immigrants, to people overseas in other countries, giving jobs and everything else to other countries like Russia and China. Russia and China has made millions and billions of dollars off of us, off of our tax dollars. Okay? Illegal immigrants have gotten money off of our tax dollars. They've gotten free food, free housing, free everything. Now, I literally barely got into this. I got a few seconds into this before I was like, okay, I'm doing a video on this one. Because she talks about how sending millions of dollars to aid illegal immigrants, but yet they won't send money to you. They won't help you with rent relief or anything else. Are you fucking kidding me? They're going to demand you pay your taxes. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to do all this stuff to the taxpayer, but they're going to give free money to people who don't live here. Wake up, America. Please wake up before this, like, literally faults our country. And I do mean, like, our country will literally fall to the enemy, and America will not be America, and anyone who loves this country is going to be enslaved. That's what's going to happen.
Title 42 and governors. I know you were asked yesterday about if the president had spoken to Governor Abbott about.
Oh, damn, this one got super bright.
When was the last time the president spoke to Governor Abbott about the border situation?
Yeah.
Don't have any timeline of calls to lay out to the governor. You've seen the governor and the president together many times over the past, I would say, year when the president visited Texas. Don't have anything to lay out on a timeline of conversation or the last time he's spoken to the governor.
And any plans for them to talk?
Yeah, you do. Because the thing is, that's all documented. It's all written down. That's a lie. That's a lie. Everything the president does, everywhere he goes, is supposed to be written down. It's supposed to be put down for information for later on, just for when stuff like this happens. But because she knows he's barely been there, she knows that he's barely had any kind of talks with Governor Abbott about what's going on in Texas or any other governor from the border towns other than fucking Gavin Newsom.
This week,
I don't have anything to preview at this time.
I bet.
Arizona Democratic Governor Kate Hobbs said Monday that she's afraid the federal government is unprepared to meet the demands of the expected influx at the border. And she said that her recent request to the White House and to the DHS secretary asking what the plans are and for more help have not been met with an adequate response.
Which is not surprising.
To the governor, and why hasn't the administration responded to what she said?
So
Now, wait.
we welcome the additional steps that Governor Hobbs announced, and teams in our administration remain in close contact with border communities, including Arizona, to provide timely information and resources. Just this past Friday, DHS provided $45.5 million to organizations.
$45.5 million to organizations
In Arizona supporting migrants. Look,
they gave $45.5 million. That's a lot of money. $45,500,000 to organizations to help migrants. Now, see, they're not saying illegal migrants, but that's what they are, because it's all they are. Like, there's no one coming over here right now legally through that border. None. All of them are illegal. So the fact that she's like migrants is like literally talking down of what it actually is. But literally $45 million, point five, $45.5 million more of our taxpayer dollars. But yet, our government can't help the American people. What the fuck is this? Taxpayers need to say, nah, I want my money back. You've taken too much money from us. With how much money they've taken and spent on stupid shit between and the funds that they sent to New York to help house all those people in that fancy ass hotel and feed them, right? The amount of money that they're spending to keep and maintain all these people in our country across the board in every other state across the board, it's in the billions of dollars. But they're going to sit there and complain to the Republicans about debt limit, debt ceiling, debt this, debt that. It's the Republicans' fault. they, they are literally, people like her are giving your tax dollars to people who don't care about this country, about you, about your family, none of that. I'm pretty sure a small, minute group of those people are very appreciative of it. I'm not denying that fact. But what really irks the shit out of me is they're giving so much money, our money, to other people who don't deserve it. But yet they're gonna sit there and raise our taxes. They're gonna like kick us out of our homes. They're going to literally get it to the point where the illegals are getting majority of our food. The reason why most grocery stores don't have very much of anything on the shelves isn't because of supply line issues. No, that's a fucking lie. It's because those things are getting shipped. They're being bought by the government. The government's buying it from these grocery stores, such as Kroger, Walmart, and whatever store they have. They're buying it from these big corporations and they're shipping it to specific places in the country to then distribute it to the illegal immigrants. The reason why we're having an issue for formula for mothers in our country is because majority of it is going to the illegal immigrants who are pregnant or who have young children who are coming across the border. The food that's on the shelves that you can hardly find, toilet paper that you can hardly find, anything that you can hardly find, it's because the government's giving it to the illegals. They literally are putting it in warehouses and then handing it out to them for free. But it's not free because you're paying for it. This is where I say the American people need to come together and demand our tax dollars back. Demand that they give us our money. Give every American in the country, tax paying American, $100,000. If you're going to sit there and let these people live off of laps of luxury, why the fuck not us, right? I think it's about time that Americans said, no, not anymore. What about us? What about us? What about us? What about us? Because the thing is, they like to act as if, oh well, we can't print money. The fuck you can't. Yes, you can. You're the ones who dictate and determine what a dollar value is. Same thing with any other country. But the people sit there and just believe, oh no, we can't just print. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's paper. It is paper. It's not like it's gold or silver or rubies. Like that shit, that stuff's expensive. That makes sense if it would be, something to be regulated. But the fact of the matter is that the dollar, paper money, right, does, like, if you print more of it, it has no value. That's bullshit. So why doesn't our government go to the Treasury Department, the federal government Treasury, and say, hey, you know what? If we don't help the American people, eventually the American people are going to just stop going to work because in most places they don't feel safe. They don't. Now that's Democrat run cities, but the issue is that this is happening all over the country. In red states, blue states, it doesn't matter. Everyone is hurting thanks to this recession, thanks to tax hikes, thanks to gas prices, thanks to high energy prices because of the government. Which is where I say we demand our money back. We demand our money.
Uh, we'll continue to have those conversations with her. We'll continue to stay in touch. I just mentioned the funding that we provided, that DHS provided on Friday. We are putting forth a
DHS
robust
needs to give
plan.
us
We're putting
money,
that in place
the
to do
American
this in
people
a
money.
humane way, to do this in an orderly way through.
DHS, Democratic government, Republican government, y'all need to come together. You need to talk to the IRS and say, hey, guess what? We need to get some money to our taxpayers because they are hurting. Now, granted, someone's probably coming in here and is like, well, what's going to stop people from spending on stupid shit? Nothing. Nothing at all. And in my opinion, if our government gives every citizen whatever amount of money, if they spend it irresponsibly, that is on them. Plain and simple. If they don't use that money to catch up on bills or rent or, stock up on supplies like food and whatnot, that's on them. 100% on them because they're grown adults. Why is it we're going to give our money to the government and sit there and let them spend it willy nilly on whatever they want, but we can't have our money and spend it whatever we want, right? So I think it's time that the taxpayers in every single state come together, talk to your local government, and then also have them talk to the federal government and our president and sit and say, we demand to be treated better. We demand for you to treat us the way you're treating all these illegal immigrants. You're giving them all this money, all this aid, all this free shit, free housing, free everything, but we, the taxpayers, are suffering. When is any? When are y'all gonna wake up? When are you gonna wake up? Like, really? Come on.
Enforcement, deterrence, and diplomacy. We've been very clear about that, not just today, not just yesterday, not just last week, but for the past several months.
Uh
We're going to
huh.
have Secretary Mayorkas, who is kindly going to be joining us in the briefing on Thursday. He's going to take your questions. He's going to lay out very clearly, again, what we've been doing. We want to
Nothing.
provide all the information that we
You've
can
been doing
have
nothing.
to all of you. We have been doing that, not just here, State Department, DHS, and Pentagon as well. And so we're going to continue to have those conversations. Again, we appreciate and welcome the additional steps that was provided by the governor, and we'll continue to stay in close touch.
So, 45.5 million more money of our money to illegal immigrants. when, when is someone gonna come in and like go, okay, hey, look, this is how much money our government has spent on illegal immigrants, and when you do the numbers, you can literally see that if our government sat there and bailed out the people, because that's what they need to do. They need to bail out the people. They need to stop bailing out banks. They need to stop bailing out all this stupid bullshit. Bail out the people, the American taxpayer. Bail them out. You can't sit there and say, oh, how are we going to get the money to them? If they're a taxpayer, they pay taxes, right? You can use their most recent tax form, right? Just like how you did when it came to the freaking stimulus checks in 2020 and 2021, I believe. You can do that. And don't sit there and go, oh, we'll give you $3,000 or we're going to give you. No, 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 no. There's people who are literally in debt because they are having a hard time paying their rent, their utility bills, and everything else because most places are hurting. Most places are cutting hours for workers, cutting days for workers, making it to the point to where people who went from 5 to 6 days a week to maybe 3 or 4 days a week went from 8 hours a day to maybe 4 hours a day. This is happening all over. There's people who can't get food stamps because food stamp programs are backlogged. There's people who can't get cash aid because of the same thing. People who can't get any medical services because of the same thing. Our government needs to bail out the American people. And it ain't gonna be no bullshit about, oh hey, we can't do that. Yes, you can. Oh, don't sit there and say you can't. You're bailing out people who don't even live here legally, but you can't bail us out. Well, if you don't, I can guarantee the American people will have a big old revolution, big old revolt, state by state by state by state. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, if it keeps getting worse, it's gonna happen. Does anyone remember the riots in the 1990s? Right? The riots were bad. It's gonna get to that point again. It's going to. And I don't want it to, but it's going to. And it's because of our government and their spending on stupid shit. Yeah, granted, someone might come in here and go, oh, well, you're talking about more spending. No, I'm talking about the government bailing out the American people who are like allowing the government to spend all this money. If they literally say, here's X amount of dollars, this is for whatever you need it for, we aren't doing this again, right? We aren't going to give you X amount of dollars again. Use it for what you need it for to bail yourself out, whether it's get yourself out of debt, pay off your loans, pay off whatever you need to pay off that you're struggling to pay off, right? Do that. That's it. Who cares if someone decides to spend their money on stupid shit? But I think that every single taxpayer deserves to get bailed out. Taxpayer. I'm not talking about anyone else or all that other kind of bull, like not homeless people, because we already do programs for homeless people. But the thing is, most homeless people don't want to follow what the program is, which is no drugs, no violence, no alcohol, right? Most of them choose their drugs, their violence, and their alcohol. Okay? So I'm not saying cut programs like helping the homeless, but I'm saying bail out the taxpayers. So that's it for this video, guys. I can guarantee I'm gonna be doing videos like that. Like I've done a video on this kind of thing about how our government takes money from us, gives it to other countries and other people, but then they expect us to keep paying more and more and more and more. And for us, the homeless crisis is getting worse because of lack of jobs and high prices of everything and people not having enough money. They need to give the taxpayers money. They need to cut all this bullshit and knock it off. So that's it for this video. Like, share, subscribe. Check out all my socials. Go to my Rumble / Tactical Gaming 90. Go to my YouTube.com / at Tactical Gaming 90. And my Twitch.tv Ninja Nick 0069 for all my gaming stuff. So also go to PayPal. That's for any kind of donations towards my channel and everything else. When it comes to shooting, gaming, all that other kind of stuff, go there for anything. And I do mean anything. Anything will help. So Ninja Nick 0069 at Gmail. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. Catch me from the next one. Later.